Welcome and thanks for riding with the Cowboy. Well, as all the Bucs fans seen, we lost our playoff game against the Detroit Lions in the division round at Ford Field Sunday, 31-23. We played a good game. It was a tough team. Went to the division round of the playoffs, lost 31-23. Went for a 2-point conversion after scoring a touchdown late. Baker Mayfield threw an interception with 80 seconds to go in the game. We lost the game. Had a good competitive game. Could have won the game. A lot of breaks didn't go our way. But maybe fate didn't either, because it was 37 years since the Detroit Lions had been to the NFC Championship game, and they finally, not only did they win their division and win the playoff game, but they are now in the NFC Championship game this Sunday against the 49ers. Congratulations to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Glazer family, Jason Light, Todd Bowles, Dave Canales, that all the coaches and all the players that made up this year's team. They were underdogs from the get-go. They were supposed to be the last place team in the division. They wound up winning the division. They won the game against the defending NFC champs, Philadelphia Eagles, 32-9 to take them to the division round. So as sad as we are, they lost the game. They had a tremendous season. They found a quarterback. Here at Sports Talk with the Cowboy, myself, Cowboy, and DJX believe in Baker Mayfield for at least 3 to 4 years down the road. They could keep Mike Evans, keep the players that they've got. They're only one game from the Super Bowl this year. So they add a few players. We don't know what next year will bring, but we got to get all those players back, keep the same coaching staff, keep everything in place, and do what we did this year, repeat it next year. But congratulations to that team. And congratulations to them getting as far as they did with what we thought they wouldn't get. We thought they might have a reasonable 500 season. They ended the season 9-8, but they went into the wild card round and won a home playoff game against the Philadelphia Eagles. But it was a tough game. Baker Mayfield threw 3 touchdowns, 1 to Mike Evans. It was a good game as far as the defense and the offense. It was a close game. 3-3, 10-10, 17-10, 24-10. It was back and forth. Then the Bucs were always they were behind 14 in the fourth quarter. They pulled within 6 because they went for 2 points. They did get the ball back, but the attempt fell short. But it was a great season, and we were looking forward to a great season next year. We're looking forward to the free agency period where we're going to have some of these players that have to be re-signed. Some of our players, I'm sure, will be let go, as they are every year, and we will get new players to take their place. And then we have the draft in April. We have a lot to watch in this off season so that we can prepare the team to go and do what they did Sunday again next year, but just 2 games better. And so congratulations to every single member of that team and organization, and as far as they went this year. And they really had a competitive game against the Detroit Lions. And the other games this weekend, the 49ers beat the Green Bay Packers to move on to the championship game this Sunday. It will be the Detroit Lions and the San Francisco 49ers for the NFC Championship. And it will be the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending world champion Kansas City Chiefs, playing the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore to be the AFC champion this Sunday at 3 o'clock. So we had 8 teams. Now we're down to 4. And after Sunday, there'll only be the one for the AFC and one for the NFC, and they'll meet in Las Vegas, Nevada in the Super Bowl in a few weeks. So we're going to keep you posted on what goes on in the game. Myself personally here at Sports Talk with the Cowboy and DJX, I'm pulling for Detroit myself, because we called them as a team that hadn't been for 37 years. 2 years ago when they hired Dan Campbell, this is his 3rd season. We said he was going to change the Detroit Lions football program, and he has. 3 years in, he's a division champ, the first time in 37 years. First time in 37 years he had a playoff game in Detroit, he won it. Came back this week, beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the 2nd playoff game in Ford Field in Detroit, and they're 1 game from the Super Bowl for only the 2nd time in 90 years of being a team. So we called another great one. So we got to kind of pull for Detroit against the 49ers. And we know we're going to get a lot of comments saying no way they can win. But, They might not. Okay, the 49ers got a lot of Lombardi trophies, about 6 of them. And it's going to be a tough haul for the Lions to beat the 49ers, I believe, out in San Francisco. But if anybody with the enthusiasm of a Cinderella story, there can't be no bigger than the Detroit Lions. And we called it here first at Sports Talk with the Cowboy. And then the Kansas City Chiefs, again, will play the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock. The winner of that game will move on to the Super Bowl. And, of course, last year's defending Super Bowl champ is the Kansas City Chiefs. By the way, the Kansas City Chiefs have been in 4 of the last 5 Super Bowls. That means out of the last 5 Super Bowls, Kansas City's been in 4 of them. Cincinnati was in 1 of them. That just shows you how good them Kansas City Chiefs team is. So it's going to be some good games this week. We'll keep you posted on what happens. And watch and keep watching Sports Talk with the Cowboy. Keep you posted on all the activity with the Bucs and the coaching news, the coaching carousel, with all the new coaches going to new teams all over the league, and we'll have to prepare for them for next year. We'll go to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Last night, defeating the Winnipeg Jets 6-3. Nikita Kucherov had 3 goals. He had a hat trick, 3 goals last night, 1 assist. And the Tampa Bay Lightning has broke a couple-game losing streak with a big win last night. A lot of offense. Looked real well last night, and they got another game tonight against the Calgary Flame. We'll see how they pull out on that game over in Amalie Arena. But the Lightning are now trying to pick it up. Like we said the last show, they got to start picking up some momentum to get into this Stanley Cup run, which is going to happen in another couple of months. No news on the Tampa Bay Rays this week of any substance. We got a big NASCAR. We've got a big race up on the NASCAR track at Daytona this week. The biggest IMSA race other than Sebring in the United States. It is the 24 Hours of Rolex, the first sports car race of the season. It will start Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock and end Sunday at 3 o'clock, 24 hours later. The big cars will be there, the ones that will be at Sebring in March. The biggest of the big. And there will be 4 different classes. You got your GT Daytona, you got your LM2, you got your GT and your GT Pro. So there'll be, I think, about a 63-car field on the track up at Daytona this weekend in the big Rolex 24 Hours. We'll keep you posted on the winners and the teams. The manufacturers, we have the Lamborghini Hurricane this year is a new one. We'll join with the Acura, and we'll join with the BMW and the Porsche and the Cadillac in that GT prototype, big class of hydro prototypes this week at Daytona. So we'll keep you posted on what goes on up at Daytona, getting ready for the Sebring race in March. NASCAR will begin their racing right after this weekend. We're going to start seeing racing and qualifying and practices up at Daytona for the big Daytona 500 in the middle of February. So racing in Florida has begun. The racing in Florida, for the racing season of Florida, has begun. The Rolex, the 24 Hours of Rolex, the 12 Hours of Sebring, the opening IndyCar race, the St. Pete Grand Prix, all here in Florida within the next 6 weeks. We'll keep you posted here at Sports Talk with the Cowboy on all the racing. Tune into that Rolex, pick the car you want, and tune in and enjoy yourself. Now we're going to go to the questions, and we have a lot. The first one is from Ted. Ted wanted to know how I felt about Baker Mayfield's performance Sunday. Ted, I thought he did a great job Sunday. He played hard. He played gutsy. He played tough. He did have a mistake at the end and wound up with an interception, but he had 3 touchdowns. He had the team in the game. He had them close. They were playing a great team in the Detroit Lions. This is a great team. When you were the final 8 teams of the whole league, there are no slouches. And the Detroit Lions and that crowd was absolutely fanatic. There was electricity shooting out of those fans up there in the Detroit. People were crying the week before in the fan. They'd never seen a playoff game. 37 years. So, yes, it was a tough game, and we stayed hard. I thought Baker played quite well this week. We wish he would have won, but thought he looked pretty good. God bless you, and thank you for your question. The next question is from Beth, and Beth wanted to know about the free agents and who I thought would be signed and who I don't think will be back with the Bucs. And it's real early, Beth, for me to make that assumption. I'm sure that Jason Light's going to sign Baker Mayfield to a long-term deal, and the same way with Mike Evans, and I'm sure Antonio Winfield will get given a contract, a large contract. Those 3 are your main targets right now, those 3. I'll sign Levante David to a short-term deal. He's getting a little bit long in the tooth. He's got a couple years left. Not going to be as big a deal. Now, there will be players that won't be back. One of them will be Devin White, the linebacker. He's gone. Pack your bags, Devin. You're gone. No $25 million a year for you. You're out. Okay. Ryan Neal, the safety, plays beside Antonio Whitfield. We paid $6 million for last year. Gone. Carlton Davis, we're paying him $21 million. He missed 8 games this year, 4 last year. $21 million a year. Gone. So those 3 guys are going to be gone. Okay, and you can write that down, and here about April when we tell you all of them left, we'll match that up, and Beth, you'll see we're pretty close to right. God bless you, Beth. Thank you for your question. And the last question is from Fred, and Fred wanted to know who I thought would win the games this week in the championship games. And I think my heart says Detroit, my mind says San Francisco out there in San Francisco. In Baltimore, if Lamar Jackson shows up in the Team Lamar, Baltimore wins. If the one that don't understand pass routes real well and is not as agile as he sometimes is, Lamar, shows up, Baltimore loses. Kansas City is a machine. They are a machine with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and their defense with Chris Jones. They are a tough, well-oiled team. 4 out of the last 5 Super Bowls, Kansas City's been in them. I just checked data. So don't let Baltimore think just because they're at home, Kansas City's going to roll over, because there ain't no rolling over with Kansas City. I think Kansas City beats Baltimore. There's a lot of ifs in that. So we'll just have to see. There's got to be a winner and a loser. But thank you for the question, and God bless you. DJX, what do you got for me tonight?
Well, Cowboy, you know what it is. Let's get right off into it, buddy. All right. What's the Chiefs' biggest concern about the Ravens' offense or defense?
Lamar Jackson's ability to get out of the pocket when you've got everybody covered and running 25 and 30 yards. Mm-hmm. Lamar Jackson's escapability under pressure and being able to throw downfield. Also, they have to worry about Odell Beckham and Jay Flowers, great receivers Baltimore has. They have some big, bruising running backs also. They can run the ball. They can put their nose down and run. They got some big backs. They got to worry about a lot of things in Baltimore because Baltimore is for real.
Yeah, and to elaborate on what you said, I got the Ravens over the Chiefs.
Everybody does have the Ravens, including Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. And it well could be that is how it is. And that is how it could be.
Got Ravens over the Chiefs, and you know my team, 49ers, over the Lions.
I, deep in my heart, feel like somehow or another, possibly, if anything slips up, Mahomes will take advantage for it. Mm-hmm. It's that close with the Baltimore game. In my heart, the physicality of the 49ers is great, and they have great weapons with Deebo Samuel, McCaffrey, and George Kittle, their tight end. Yeah. But Detroit is coming in on pure passion.
Oh, yeah, that's no doubt about
and
that.
So I got more of a hope than a reality, but I'm pulling for Detroit. But if the 49ers win, that's kind of wishy-washy. All these games are kind of wishy-washy.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I like it. All right, 3 coaches that could replace Vic Fangio
as the defensive coordinator for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Wink Martindale would be one, the defensive coordinator of the New York Giants. He's looking for a job. He could be one that could replace him. I think Raheem Morris used to be our head coach for the Tampa Bay Bucs, was L.A. Ram defensive coordinator. He'd be a good one. And Steve Wilkes, who's the offensive coordinator of the 49ers, which I don't know that he'd leave that job. Those 2 right off the rip would be 2 good ones that would replace Fangio, because he's getting old and long in the tooth. He don't want to be around, and they want to replace him, and good. Let him go.
All right. Grunt can't see Ravens losing.
Well, that's his opinion, and, you know, he's a sportscaster with Fox and a great tight end. Helped us win a Super Bowl here in Tampa, and he's right. The Baltimore Ravens up the down, you know, they've got a great offensive coordinator, Lamar Jackson on MVP level, 2 great backs, 2 great receivers, a great defense, great pass rush, great secondary, great kicker, Jason Tucker, one of the best kickers in all of football. They're playing at home. Why wouldn't they be the favorites? Right. Kansas City's there. Kansas City made it. They beat the Bills by 3. But they don't look like the Kansas City Chiefs of last year. A lot more drops, a lot more pass routes not ran properly. They double up on Kelsey. They take Kelsey out of the game. They stop Kansas City's run. Yeah. And they get the pass rush down on Patrick Mahomes. And I'm going to tell you as a Bucs fan what happened to the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl the Bucs played. We did just what I just said, and we killed Patrick Mahomes. We had Patrick Mahomes, when he walked up there in the third quarter, be looking around like he's shell-shocked. He don't know where they're coming from. So if Baltimore can do that, then, I'm sure they watched that Buck film. So they do just the same thing.
For sure. All right. Steelers, what position is most needed?
A stable quarterback now with Kenny Pickett in and out, and Mason Rudolph coming in at the end of the year and taking them to the playoffs and winning. Now they've got a controversy of the quarterback. Like they say, if you got 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one. So you got to have one or the other. And I think that's the biggest problem with them now, because you got Kenny that you give all that money to, and he's a hometown hero, but he's been kind of slipping. You got Mason's been around as a third string, and he's played so good that he played himself into the starting role.
Show you right. All right, let's go to the boards. Lamar on Mahomes matchup.
Lamar is a great athlete, Heisman Trophy winner, as we all know. He can run like Michael Vick. He's elusive. He's got good pass skills. He can throw the ball on a dime, on a rope. But there ain't nobody in football that I've seen. I call Patrick Mahomes the magician with his underhanded stuff and sidearm stuff. Patrick Mahomes' father was a pitcher for the New York Mets. Patrick Mahomes was raised in the locker room with the New York Met baseball team where his father was a pitcher. Patrick Mahomes is going to be a professional baseball player when he went to Texas Tech. And they said, how about playing some football out here with us, too, not just play baseball? But that skills of that hand, if you see how he throws his balls, it's baseball. And he can underhand it, sidearm it, flip it. And if you watch him, I don't think anybody would have that if they weren't natural ability, genetic ability. That's what Mahomes gets. So that's what makes him, as far as I'm concerned, the greatest quarterback out there right now. He's got a unique, to him, characteristic that none can say they could master. He's got a father that was a 12-year pitcher in Major League Baseball. He's been around the light since he's been a little boy. With his daddy, he was carrying bats, not footballs. It's a lot like it,
Right on. All right, we got to get off into it. The interception pass, last play. What you think about it?
The bad pass. I think Baker was forcing the ball. I think both of the receivers on the outside were covered. The defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, with a little mustache there, he's defense coordinator. He said, look, they got to score. Double on Godwin, double with the other safety on Evans. Shut down them going long ways down the field, 25 or 30 yards. Don't let them do it. And when you do that, they're going to put the tight end right up behind the linebackers, and Mayfield's going to see him crossing the field and throw it. You be there when he does. They were, and they got the ball.
Interesting. I think Mayfield choked.
He choked on that play.
On that last play.
Yeah, he choked on that play.
He was nervous.
Again, if you don't have the play, let the play go. And he does that a lot. But you get caught up in all that emotion at the end and the clock ticking, and your tight end was running the route, but they knew he was running it. Now, if they hadn't have been setting him up for that pass by stopping those 2 outside receivers, he might have caught it.
You know how you correct that? Get more running plays.
Well, they were down to the clock was ticking.
The Bucs don't got no good running game.
They don't have running game, and
they need to get the running game up so they can start switching up some
Well,
things.
he could have just taken that play, like you said. He could have just said, okay, I don't have a play, hand it off, myself run it, go down, get back up, throw the ball down, spike it. I mean, if I'm going to risk an interception, I'm not going to risk it 10, 15 yards down the road.
Hell,
Between me and you,
he could have risked the quarterback
right.
sneak for the first.
Between me and you, DJX, them going long ways down the field vertically, 30, 40 yards. Throw the ball 45 yards, let their guy hit your guy trying to go get it. You get a pass interference and you get the ball down there. You see, you get the ball down there. If you throw it where your guy catches it or nobody catches it, you got a chance that the guy covering you, he's right up on you, bumps you, and the referee throw a yellow flag and the ball stays,
True.
You throw it downfield.
Right.
Don't throw it short. When
I didn't understand the short pass at all.
Well, bad call.
Bad call for sure.
Bad call.
All right. That's what I got for you tonight.
God bless you, DJX.
God bless you.
God bless each and every one of you for watching this show. God bless y'all for continued support of this show. In the comments, send your questions. We're glad to answer them. Again, congratulations to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on a wonderful year. Congratulations, Baker Mayfield, Todd Bowles, Jason Light, the ownership, the players, all the players. They went out there and made us proud as Buccaneer fans, and we got a lot to look forward to. And all the fans out there, please give someone a hand. If they don't need it, at least offer it, and then continue to offer till they take it. We need a lot more love in this world than we have hate, because this world is a hateful place, and we need to have good instead of evil. Until next show, God bless you. Cowboy out.
Have you ever had a dream that you want him to do you so much you could do anything?